new play at the MTC warehouse. It's called East of Berlin. Now, it's a story of a young man who's preparing to meet with his estranged father after finding out that his father had actually been an SS doctor in the Nazi death camps. Now, he struggles to atone for his father's sins, and the past sort of ends up catching up with him. And we've got a clip, a scene from the play where he actually meets his love interest, because you always got to have a love interest. Let's take a look.
There, just like you, in the aisle, until he found the record of it, of the transport.
I'm sorry, you're researching here as well?
I'm looking through housing records. I had family in Berlin, so they must have had housing. But I came here first, to this section. I found my mother here. Found the record of a transport and the date when I know she went east.
East?
Yes.
To the camps?
Yes?
Are you, I'm sorry, you're saying that you had family who were deported to...
You didn't have family who were...
No, my family, no.
You're German?
Yes.
All right, well, that was a clip from the play East of Berlin. It was written by up-and-coming Canadian playwright Hannah Moscovich, and now joining me in studio is Diana Donnelly, one of the actresses you just saw in that clip there. How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing well. Tell us a little bit about your character, about Sarah, and about the clip that we just saw. That's when your character, and Rudy meet for the first time.
Exactly. Sarah's from New York, and we discover that she is the daughter of a survivor, so she's the perfect foil for Rudy. He's dealing with this guilt about his father who committed atrocities, and suddenly he meets this Jewish girl from New York, and they fall in love, and so it's a bit of a
yeah,
of course. So it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing, wrong sides of the wall, and it's complicated.
Yeah. Wonderful. What was it like for you to approach a role where, you know, in a play where the Holocaust is discussed and it's kind of heavy subject matter? How do you approach it as an actress?
You just take it moment to moment. You know, we actually laugh a lot. I mean, there's a lot of humor in the play, and Hannah's an amazing writer. I think she's one of the great Canadian writers to look out for, Hannah Moscovich. So you know, sometimes we get the giggles in certain moments. You can't deal with the looming heaviness of the history of it at all moments. But then sometimes, boom, it drops in, and it's been really moving for us doing it. We've done it across the country. We did it in Vancouver and Edmonton. We're going to be doing it in Toronto again. And you know, we've met survivors who've waited for us after the show to talk to us. We've also met Germans. We've met, you know, everyone has a story they want to tell us because they've seen this show. But
obviously it's moving them too if they want to come up to you and kind of talk afterward. I was going to ask what sort of reception you've gotten from people who have seen the play.
It's been great because I mean the humor's really dark. She's she's a really edgy new writer and quite hip, and her dialogue is just so much fun to speak. It's been a great response, and I think people are surprised because they think, oh, you know, I'm going to this heavy play, and then they go, oh, it's actually about young people and about love, and it's sexy, and so we just love doing it. And it's also cool for us because we created the parts. We're the first people to play these parts. Like as an actor, sometimes you're doing Shakespeare, you're doing the classics, and you know
people have done it hundreds of times before.
Exactly. So you're part of this legacy, and you go, oh, like what am I going to do that's different? And you try to honor the part, and there's this big responsibility, and with Newark it's a different responsibility. You just want the play to be well received. You know, we were so excited for Hannah when we first did it in front of an audience because that audience had never heard these words before.
Yeah, well, that's definitely great. Good to be able to sort of carve your own way into it as well. Was it difficult at all knowing that there are maybe, you know, survivors from the death camps in the audience, or Jewish people at all? Was it difficult for you when you first started to perform the play?
I felt a lot of responsibility. I say a very sacred Jewish prayer in it, and the Mourner's Kaddish, and so there was definitely a real feeling of responsibility. The first time we did it in front of an audience, we didn't know how they would take it, and the response has just been incredible. And because it's really about universal stuff, about inheriting the sins of the father, and what do you do if your parent has done terrible things? How does that reflect on you? And I think everyone you know, can relate to like raging, exactly, raging against your parents and trying to find out who you are.
Wonderful. Well, this is taking place on right now until December 5th, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's at the MTC warehouse. Go check it out. It's called East of Berlin. Thanks so much,
Thanks
Diana,
so much
for being with us, taking a look at your morning news.
We were in science class. We were cutting up beetles and looking at the insides of them, and Herman said something like, "That's what your father did to the Jews." It was a sort of joke. I was surprised. I didn't get the joke. I asked him about it. Here's what Herman said to me.
It's an analogy.
East of Berlin hits the Tom Hendry stage, continuing on MTC's exciting fall lineup.
I'm not saying it's an accurate analogy, but it's close enough that I thought you might react, for instance, with emotion.
What are you talking about?
Your father. My father commanded in Poland. It's not as though he was some sort of war hero either, all right?
What are you talking about?
This award-winning play is raising a lot of issues as we follow the truth about the past of one young man's father.
Herman, what? What are you talking about? You're talking about my father. You're saying my father... What are you saying? Tell me what you're saying. Tell me what you're saying.
Your father was an SS doctor, all right?
It's a three-person play, and it's about, I play a character named Rudy who grows up in Paraguay, a young German boy in the 50s and early 60s, and finds out at the age of 17 that his father was a doctor at Auschwitz. And he's sort of torn apart by that information and sort of rebels. First with his best friend Herman, and then later in Germany with a woman named Sarah Kleinman. And so it's sort of about how those three characters' lives kind of intertwine, and I guess bearing the weight of guilt of sort of the sins of the father visited on the son, and how you deal with a life with that shadow over everything that you do. And that's when I met her, Sarah Kleinman.
Gall's character Rudy must come to grips with the horrible truth, but has difficulty facing his Jewish friend, Sarah Kleinman, played by Diana Donnelly.
But I came here first to this section. I found my mother here. Found the record of a transport and the date when I know she went east.
East?
Yes.
To the camps?
Yes?
Are you, I'm sorry, you're saying that you had family who were deported to...
You didn't have family who were...
No, my family, no.
You're German?
Yes. I think the, you know, something like the Holocaust, it's such a big, kind of unbelievable thing that happened, and I think there's so much guilt, even for people who weren't directly involved. The children of that generation that were the perpetrators, I think, had that burden of guilt on them, and with her being Jewish, he's just not able to come clean about that. I think he spends his whole life trying to distance himself from that reality.
The success of this play is due to the writing. East of Berlin is the first full-length play by up-and-coming Canadian playwright Hannah Moscovich.
Hannah's a great writer, and I think all of us feel pretty lucky to be given these words that we get to say every night. She's a smart, funny writer that has really tapped into something that's pretty remarkable. And lots of challenges within the writing as well, lots of unfinished thoughts and broken fragment sentences, and so lots of fun things to be had as actors, you know, lots of stuff to chew into.
For more information on the play, you can go to the website mtc.nb.ca. East of Berlin continues on at the Tom Hendry Theatre until December 5th. For Shaw TV in Winnipeg, I'm Tracy Koga.